So if you're having trouble finding your controls because we're in the share screen mode and you're not used to seeing the big black screen like that, you can actually go to your view. Possibly it's up in your upper right hand corner, and you can select, for example, view side-by-side gallery. You can exit full screen if you wish, and sometimes that'll help you get your other business done while you're waiting. So. And if anybody's having any technical moments, this is a good time to bring them up. Maybe something that we can help you with a slight word of advice. And Craig is going to be sharing his screen, and so he's going to be, the screen will be mostly the screen, and then you can pick your view. If you go to view in your black bar, it's probably up in the upper right, and you can select standard. And you can toggle between these and see which one you like the best. There's standard, there's side-by-side speaker, side-by-side gallery. I like that one because it's fun. You can scroll down and see who else is in the room. And, or if you need to exit full screen, if you're automatically your full screen popped up, you can click on exit full screen. So you may have other windows that say you're taking notes in or something like that, so.
Oh, I see, okay. Thanks, Char. I'm leaving my screen off because I don't have my makeup on and I'm in my pajamas.
I love it. I love it. I did that this morning myself, so I totally get it. Yeah.
I just had to turn mine off to finish my grilled cheese sandwich.
Oh.
Didn't want you guys to have to watch me eat my, ketchup smearing all over it.
So what will happen later is that we're going to be muted. Everybody will be muted as soon as the seminar starts. So then you don't have to worry about the sound of munch, 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 or your Great Dane bounding into the room, or your anything like that. So that's convenient. That's for sure. Yeah. So how's everybody doing today?
Good.
Good.
Busy. I had a humongous order for my craft for Newfoundland to Nanaimo, little shop in Nanaimo. So I've been busy packing away, getting it all ready to go, which is why I'm all not dressed and still no makeup. So who am I kidding? I never wear makeup when I'm home.
That's the glory of work from home. I actually had someone that I was interviewing refuse to turn on her camera because she wasn't wearing mascara. I said, no fair wearing makeup. I'm not going to be wearing it. How can you get to look glamorous? So she said, okay, here I am. And we're both staring at each other, and we don't look like our Facebook pictures. That's for sure.
I don't think Craig's wearing makeup. I don't know. Just, just saying.
He's not a makeup kind of guy, actually.
No.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Well, he doesn't need, no, exactly, but he doesn't happen to need it, so that's pretty awesome.
Oh, that's not fair.
Yeah.
I don't think he's noticing that we're picking on him.
Hey, I have a question about your product, Newfoundland to Nanaimo. It sounds fascinating.
Oh, it's actually sorry. First of all, I thought you were Char talking, Jackie. I'm sorry. I was calling
it's okay.
Char.
I get a lot of Becky and Vicky, so you just call me whatever you want. No problem.
No, my business is actually A2C Creations, and it's all beachy stuff on Etsy, and but it's also in several local shops. But the Newfoundland to Nanaimo shop is just delightful. It's right on the harbor, and well worth checking out. That's for sure.
All right, if you want to put your Etsy link into the chat, that's fine. I wouldn't mind checking it out. Or if you want to hold up your product, and this is a good time if anybody wants to hold up their Chihuahua. This is the moment, right? We're not distracting anybody. We're just chatting and
well, thank you. But I have no idea how to get out of the screen to give you the link, or what I'm doing. So thank you, though.
Well, you're here. That's great. That's super.
Oh, I see. Oh, I think I did figure it out. What do you know?
See, it's amazing. I do quite a bit of private orientation for people that want to get accustomed to Zoom, and it's pretty fun to see the lights go on. And once you get used to it, It's pretty amazing.
No kidding. Now I just have to find the, okay. So chat's down there.
There's
I
the
might
chat.
read
Your participants list. If you click on participants 23, then you can scroll through the participants and see, oh, who's there? That's interesting. And yeah, so chat and participants are a couple of the favorite. Another one that's fun is the reactions. Do you see that? It's sort of in that sort of participants chat, record reactions row right in there, and you can check that out. And so you can say, oh yeah, okay. So
oh, I see. Okay.
put a little, you can put a little clap, a yay, and the thing that looks like a pizza slice is not a pizza slice. It is like a party hat or a party hat.
Party hat.
Yeah. So
I don't even see it anyways.
all right. Well, it's in your reactions if you look over there. Probably in your reactions.
Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go.
And of course, the things that you want to know for sure is your stop video. That's really handy if you have to do something like scratch your back, or your Great Dane comes in and would be all distracting because he does the thing where he gets on your shoulders. And so the stop video is awfully handy.
And whereabouts is that?
You know, if you see the participants in the chat, it should be kind of over to the left, and where you can mute yourself. Mute yourself if you want to slurp coffee, stop video, anything like that. So those are bottom left probably is where it is. Once in a while, people will have some configuration where they say, well, it's actually on the top. So.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Thank you, Mickey, for putting your link up to your Etsy shop. Anybody wants to check out Mickey's A2C creations. Oh, I see. Very clever. A2C creations. Very nice. Well, I'll look at that later.
Well, thanks for asking. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet.
By the way, hello, Craig.
Hello there.
If you see Craig with looks like he's got a fake beautiful library scene in the background. That's not a fake beautiful library. That's a real beautiful library.
Wow.
400 square feet, 6,000 volumes. Not too shabby.
Not
biggest library anybody else has the actual library. He's the biggest library out in person besides the actual library.
I have thousands of books, but I sure don't have them arranged like that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Hey, was that Carl?
Yes.
Hello, Carl.
Hello, Mickey. Now I'm now gonna go mute because I'm supposed to be actually muted, but I'll go muted.
Well, I'm glad to hear your voice today.
Yeah, great to see you again, Mickey. This is Char, and we're going to mute everyone now. We're getting ready to start, but please keep your videos on. And Jacqueline is monitoring the chat window if you have any questions. And at the end, Craig has asked that we open up the view so we can see everyone's happy faces at the end for a 5-minute chat at the end. So hope to see you then.
Okay, Jackie, I'm seeing 2 o'clock. Let's
get her rolling.
get it rolling.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the second week of a two-week event with Craig Stephen Copland. Today, we'll be talking about marketing your books. And first of all, I want to gratefully acknowledge that I am speaking to you from the traditional territory of Nuu-chah-nulth and Sishat First Peoples and First Nations. Very grateful for that. And we are coming to you from Char's Landing, and it's an Electric Mermaid reading series event. Many thanks to Charlene Patterson and to Carl Corvin, who are making this extra special presentation possible. And I want to say right now that e-transfers are gratefully accepted. The proceeds go directly to support the things that Charlene Patterson does at Char's Landing, and you can make a donation for this event. It certainly would cost you something somewhere else, but you can, if you'd like, you can send an e-transfer to etransfer@charslanding.com, and I'm going to type that into the chat in just a moment, but it's etransfer@charslanding.com. And without further ado, I wish to welcome our workshop presenter, Craig Stephen Copland, who has self-published, I'm not making this up, over 200 books on Amazon. And he is the author of 43 self-published Sherlock Holmes novels, as well as some short stories. He was an English major at the University of Toronto, and he sat at the feet of both Northrop Frye and Marshall McLuhan, other great literary professors there. So his professional career took him to over 100 countries, endless adventures. He is a member of the esteemed Sherlock Holmes Society of Canada, also known as the Toronto Bootmakers, and he's on a mission to write a new Sherlock Holmes mystery that is related to and inspired by each of the 60 stories in the original canon. And he looks forward to finally settling down someday when he turns 90. And I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. So welcome.
Okay, it is great to be here. And I hope at this point, are you seeing my screen, which has a little blue picture? It says how to sell your self-published books.
Yes, I can see that. And I wanted to mention, I hope everybody else can see that as well. I just wanted to mention before we go further that we are taking still photographs, as well as video is being recorded, so we can put this up online. So just want to let everybody know that. I was remiss not to mention it to you before. So thank you. Go ahead, Craig.
Okay, I am coming to you from Vernon, fabulous little city in the north end of the Okanagan Valley. And if you all want to sell your mansions in Vancouver, you can come and buy a much nicer home in Vernon and still have $500,000 in the bank. And we don't have everything that Vancouver has, but we don't have much COVID either. So it's a wonderful place to be home. And I'm now going to say a few things about me, which is not to boast and brag. The purpose of my talking about myself is to say, basically, if I can do this, so can you. If a 70-year-old technophobe like me can manage, after about 3 years of selling books seriously on Amazon, make enough to live on if I had to, modestly, you can as well. I am not a technological wizard by any extent. When I have a problem with technology or software, I have one simple solution, which is to knock on the office door of my wife and say, if you have a minute, can you help me? One of her master's degrees is in computer engineering, and she comes over into my office and begins her solution with 2 simple words, and those are move over. And that's my solution to technology. I'm going to start by blowing away some myths about self-publishing. You will not write one book and make $1 million. Okay, that is just simply not going to happen. That's called winning the lottery. Your odds of doing that are about the same as winning the lottery. You will not write one book a year and earn $10,000 a month. It doesn't happen. You might do very well off your first book, but by the time you get around a year later to your second book, thousands more books like yours will have appeared and you will have lost your audience. So you also do not have to pay an expert a fortune to help you do this. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars to take a course, which will not make you get rich quick. It doesn't happen that way. And I'm now going to flip over to some of the things that you can do, which are going to help you. First of all, you should all see a screen from YouTube. Seeing that one? Seeing nods? Okay. I just put on YouTube, how to sell your self-published books on Amazon. Guess what? There are countless videos that you can watch and how to do it. They're free. It's YouTube. That's only the first page, and it goes on and on and on. And if that isn't enough, then you can go on to Amazon and type in how to sell your self-published books. Great. Okay, we'll make that books. And there's 20 on a page, and my goodness, there's 20 pages. And that's where you can get everything you need. And probably the most you're ever going to pay is $20 for a book. You do not have to pay $4,000 to take a course. Don't do it. And next myth, you cannot, I will now go back to my screen. You cannot crack the Amazon logarithm. You cannot hack Kindle. Don't even think about it. Amazon is incredibly smart. Some people tried to do that a few years ago. They tried to get people to, they pay them $5 or $10 to put a 5-star Amazon review on with their books. That did not last long. Amazon caught onto it and that disappeared. Other people tried to pad their books by putting in a 100-page book and then adding War and Peace as a free bonus so that you get more page reads. Amazon caught on to that. You can't do that anymore. All right. But what you can do is work your way slowly through the whole process. Massive overnight success stories are news, and you will see them. You'll see somebody that says, I made $80,000 on Amazon in 2 weeks. Those are news because they're atypical. They are rare. They're unusual. That's why they're news. That's why you hear about them. I have a good friend and colleague in Buenos Aires named Daniel. And if Daniel, I believe, is even on this call, Daniel, how are you? He is writing an outrageously funny book called Man Bites Dog. Daniel's a journalist. One of the old adages in journalism is dog bites man is not news. It happens every day. It is normal. It is usual. Therefore, it is not news. Man bites dog is unusual. It is rare. It is news. Somebody that nickels and dimes their way up to being a self-supporting, self-published author is not news. It's normal. Somebody that gets like wins the lottery is news. That's why you hear about them. You, however, are normal. I hate to break that to you. I know that your spouse thinks you're rare and exceptional. Your dog can pick you out of 10,000 people. Your grandkids think you're just fabulous. And 1 of 1,000 or 1 in a million, but in fact, as a writer, you're going to be normal. And this is going to be what normal writers can achieve. On we go. This is a reasonable goal for anybody who can write a book. If you can write a series of relatively short, good books quickly, and you market yourself and your books consistently and aggressively, then you have a reasonable expectation of earning $4,000 or $5,000 net a month after 2 years. That is a reasonable goal for any author. It is achievable. If you're an overachiever, you'll earn more, you'll earn it faster. $10,000 a month is eventually within reach for overachievers. Now, I'm going to go back. When you write a series, people and followers latch on to a series of books, not a whole series of one-offs. And you're going to write short books. If you're writing fiction, you are not going to write, can you see this? War and Peace. You're not going to write that. You are going to write short piece of maybe about 200 pages and not much more, probably about 60, 80,000 words and not much more. If you're writing nonfiction, you are not going to write, see that? It's Edward Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. And that's only half of it. You're not going to write that. You're going to write a series of books that are connected. So, for example, if you are writing nonfiction, you do not write 1,000 pages of everything you need to know about gardening. You would write everything you need to know about roses, and the next book would be everything you need to know about hydrangeas, and the next one about chrysanthemums, and so on. If you write good books, short books quickly, you market yourself consistently and aggressively. That means you do not engage in random acts of marketing, not just something here and a shot off there. You need to develop a program that is done consistently. You test it, you see what works, you get rid of the stuff that isn't working, you repeat the stuff that is working. And if you can do that, you do have a reasonable expectation of eventually being able to live as a full-time writer. Don't quit your day job yet. Leave that for a couple of years. All right, I'm going to stop right there. And Jackie, have any questions come in yet? If none, I will just keep charging ahead. And Jackie, you are on mute. And you are still on mute.
Right, there we go. All right, okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing any new questions yet. So far you're making sense. Just to be clear, we can't quit our day jobs.
Can't, okay. Not yet, not yet. All right, so this is a tried and true method for becoming a self-supporting, self-published writer. You build your own email list of readers and followers with whom you communicate personally on a regular basis and who can be counted on to buy your series of books. Okay, take a screenshot of that, put it on the wall in front of you, post it on a Post-it note or whatever. This is a way that ordinary writers are starting off as self-publishing their books and eventually working up to the point that they can live off their income. All right, what to write? Okay, there's a lot of different opinion on this. Mine is to remind people that writing is a really, really lonely occupation. You're going to spend most of your day sitting, staring at your screen, staring at your keyboard. You're going to be reading, you're going to be researching, you're going to be chasing down rabbit holes, you're going to be all sorts of things by yourself. And if you're going to write a consistent series, you're going to be doing that for 5 years. So pick something that you enjoy reading about, that you enjoy researching, you enjoy writing about, something which really does it for you. Now, people will come back and say, well, there are certain genres which do incredibly well and others that don't do very well at all. And I'm going to flip over to that because you're quite right. And if I can find out where they went. Okay, and there's the genres that make the most money, and they are romance, even steamy romance, and crime and mystery, and religious and inspirational, and science fiction and fantasy, and horror. These are the big genres that are making a lot of money. So yes, you can say, wow, somebody wrote a steamy romance, and there's 200 million people are reading it. Well, yeah, but there may be 2 million people writing it. So your odds do not improve just because the genre is selling, what's this, 1.75, $500 million spent on it. That does not improve your odds because so many people are writing it. You may say, I want to write about, let's say, lesbian vampires in ancient Egypt. Yep, that's what I want to write about. Well, there might be only 10,000 people in the entire world are going to read that junk, but there might be only 10 people writing it. So your odds are the same. You can pick something obscure, you can pick something universal, your odds are going to be about the same. But the magic of the internet today is that you can find those 10,000 people and join that community and write for them. So choose something as a result, therefore, choose something which really does it for you. Something that you really think you would enjoy writing about and reading about for years to come. Because this is not an overnight process and you can't keep jumping genres. Now, you may get to the point after 2 or 3 years, you say, I'm really, really tired about writing contemporary suburban romance. I want to write a Western romance and set it in the Wild West, in historical Wild West times. That's really exciting. Fine, you can do that. Do it under a pseudonym. Just start another whole stream of books and write under something else, because your followers who joined you as you were writing contemporary romance do not want to read Westerns, and the Western people don't want to read contemporary romance. So stick to a genre, find a genre that does it for you, and stick to it. Okay, you're going to write short fiction, and I'm going to flip back to my notes now. Okay, so write whatever you really enjoy reading, researching, writing about, and that's where you're going to stay. You're going to write relatively short for your genre. This applies both to fiction and nonfiction. You're going to write often. Try to release at least 3 books a year. 6 or more is even better. And if you don't do that, the competition will drown you. There are 7,000 self-published books published every day on Amazon. That means there's 20 every minute. You've got to break into that crowd and develop solely your own following. How do you do that? Here's one rule. Be careful what I say here. You copy. You do not plagiarize. You copy. You go to Amazon, find the bestseller page for your subgenre. You buy those books from those bestsellers, especially the ones, say, that the best-selling authors issued earlier in their series, and you read them. And you read them with a view to being a writer. There's an incredibly good book called How to Read Like a Writer by a woman named Francine Prose. You can remember that, prose as in prose, not poetry. And what she instructs people to do is to pick up the book, but read it and say, okay, how did this book open? Where are the characters introduced? What is the heroine, the protagonist like? When does what is the setting? When does the antagonist come along? Read it and see how in the world best-selling authors has constructed their books in your subgenre. And you can look and say, oh, yeah, I could do that. I can write a setting like that. That short, snappy dialogue, not long, involved paragraphs. Yeah, I can do that. And then use that style, because that's working. And there's no point thinking you're going to reinvent the wheel. You won't. And then once you decide it's time to write, first step, I strongly urge people, if you want to write quickly and get a volume of books out, you are better to outline your novel. There's a great debate in the writers community between what we call plotters and pantsers. The plotters who are writing out an extensive outline, and the pantsers who just sit down and write by the seat of their pants and just let it flow. And the pantsers will always say, well, Stephen King is a pantser. Look how successful he is. Stephen King is not a pantser. Stephen King does not put a written outline down, but Stephen King has written enough books, and he was an English teacher, and he knows how to outline a book, and that's all in his head when he starts to write. He does not have Deus ex machina floating halfway through the book. He does not have things happening which just don't make sense. He knows how to do it. He outlines. So I would strongly encourage you to outline your books fairly extensively and then write them, and then edit them. Now, it is highly recommended, if you possibly can afford it, if you want to put the money into it, find a good professional editor, somebody you think you can live with and work with for the next several years, and use the services of that individual. But it is expensive. If you're writing a 100,000 word book, you're going to pay $2,000, $3,000 to have it edited. It may be a long time before you recoup that investment. If you're not going to hire a professional editor, by all means, at least get some highly skilled beta readers. Use the software which is available, and that software, like Grammarly, like Pro Writing Aid, Write Fictionary, those are all good programs. Read it carefully, and before you ever put something up for the public, read it out loud to yourself slowly. Okay. No shortcuts on that. And that will usually spot any remaining clumsy sentences, plot holes, punctuation errors. And then once you publish it, you promote it. And I'll go into this more extensively, but you promote and you promote and you never stop promoting. And then you repeat. You start a new book and you get it out there. All right. Any questions on that so far, Jackie?
Yes, absolutely. We have one from Patty. It's a good question. What is a short word count? And she is saying for a nonfiction travel memoir, which is not the fiction series that we're talking about, but still a good question. And I've always thought that 50,000 was short for a novel.
Okay, travel memoir, I would probably suggest what you could do if you want to write a long travel memoir, that's great, but break it up and make it 3 books. If your book is 120,000 words, write 3 books and put one out and then another and another.
Especially if it's got pictures in it. You can get away with a lower word count if you've got like pictures from your travels in there.
Absolutely. Now, as far as novels go, 80,000 is a standard novel now. 60 to 80,000 is a short novel. 50,000 even shorter. Beyond that, lower than that, you start to cross the great divide into long novellas. But you really don't want to be putting out novels that are 120, 140,000 words. If that's what you want to write, then write that slowly, try to find an agent, go the traditional route, and maybe 3 or 4 years from now, you may get it published. If you want to be a self-supporting, self-published author, you've got to write short and write often. And nonfiction, usually shorter. Again, pick a very specific topic that you want to write about, and you answer a very specific need of the reader, and on you go. And then if you want to do more, write another book. All right. Now, I am a complete pain in the butt on this because I've been accused of being a grammar Nazi and all those other things, and I'm happy to accept that claim because your book must be free of typos, grammatical errors, anachronisms, factual mistakes, copyright informations, and libel. Make sure that you are not putting up a book which has a lot of mistakes in it. Now, when I was first starting to write some books, I did that. I just wrote something, read it myself, and I thought, oh, it looks pretty good. I put it up. And I got an email back from a reader. And he said, this is an interesting story, but, quote unquote, get thee to an editor. Now, for those of you who are brushed up on your Shakespeare, you know this is an allusion to Hamlet. And this is what, and Hamlet says to Ophelia, get thee to a nunnery. And a few scenes after that, of course, Ophelia dies. If you're really up in your Shakespeare, you know that get thee to a nunnery was Shakespearean slang or euphemism for a whorehouse. So when I looked at what this fellow was telling me, I thought this is a very, very clever literary slight. Actually, it's a darn good insult, and I better go back and edit it. So I did. Make your books clean, get rid of mistakes, get rid of anachronisms. It's not difficult because if you don't, you will have people posting a review almost immediately saying, interesting story, but way too many typos, way too many mistakes. Okay, your book should have an appropriate cover that can identify the genre and the type of book you're writing in a thumbnail. These are 2 different books. These are both off of best-selling pages on Amazon. The first is Cozy Mystery, the second is Occult. Just by looking at this, it says Murder in the Irish Pub, happy, colorful, it's a cozy mystery. This one has some spooky stuff in the background. It fits with the occult. Go to the bestseller pages for the genre that you want to write in. Pick 2 or 3 that seem to be like, that you could imagine yours looking like, and send them. You can go to a professional cover designer and say, make me a cover that looks like this. Professional designers in North America will generally run $100 to $500, $600. It's not cheap to get a really, really good cover. But your alternative, of course, is And let me just find where it went. Fiverr. Fiverr has thousands of people, mainly in developing countries, that are incredibly bright, that can do work very quickly. You send them 3 book covers, they make me something like this, you'll get something fabulous back, probably within a day or 2, and it might cost you 20 or 40 bucks. I'm a huge believer in Fiverr, and I'll stop here for a moment because Fiverr has all these different, this is a page out of Fiverr on the different sites for create and publish your book or ebook. And there you can see it on all about writing, about editing, about cover, layout design, book blurbs, illustration, email marketing, whatever. Use these services if you're not really confident in your own ability. And if you end up spending 20 bucks or 30 bucks on Fiverr and it doesn't work out well, you haven't lost much money. It's not like paying a book designer in California $800 and then still not liking it. So great believer in using the services of Fiverr. And now I will get myself back to where I was.
I wanted to mention another thing you can do when you're looking for design ideas and cover ideas is go to Shoppers Drug Mart. And I used to take pictures of sections of books that were kind of in what I wanted to write like. And that'll get right. That's a very quick way in person to look and see how those books are constructed, what covers look like in your genre, and get some ideas. And you can lift those ideas freely.
Okay. Having got a cover, you need, and I touched on this in the last seminar we did, you need a compelling blurb, a book description. This is what goes up on Amazon, and it's what people see when they land on your book. You need to have that. You need to have good key search words. You need to have a story that is similar to the bestsellers in your chosen genre. And again, read the bestsellers and just copy them. Do something that fits. That, you know, when people are reading in your genre, they don't want something which doesn't fit.
We've got an interesting question here, Craig, from Ken. And he's wondering about the 75, if 75% of the readers and book buyers are female, does that mean cater to women or write in a style that's appealing to women? How do you do that without pandering? And are there rules of thumb to tailoring a story for tone and style to a female audience? Women do a lot of the book buying, and some of the times they're buying books for men. That's something to think about, because men are more likely to buy books for women are more likely to buy books for men than men do for women.
Yes, but do please keep in mind that there are like 300, 400, 500 million people buying on Amazon. If 75% of them are women, that still leaves 100 million or so that are men. So while it will certainly slant that way, and while the typical buyer reader is female, there's enough men out there reading stuff that has been written for them. And frankly, you're a very brave man if you want to write a book directed specifically to women, especially if you want to write it as an omniscient narrator and think that you can go inside the head of a woman and describe exactly what her feelings are in a way that will appeal to women readers. I don't recommend it. You're a braver man than I am if you decide to try that. Anything else? Any other question, Jackie?
No, the other thing I'd say is that women, really a lot of the stuff that men like, women like it too. It's just like food tastes. I mean, Grisham thrillers, I love them. And he doesn't have to write for me. He writes to do what he does. And I eat it up. So don't worry about the female thing at all. You've got millions of people to cater to, so you're good.
Okay, on we go to where is the money going to come from? These are your streams of money off of Amazon. And first one is you'll have ebook sales. And I'm going to flip over. You can just take a look at that. I'm going to talk to this, but I'm going to go back to all right. This is my report from Amazon for the month of January. this tells you what is selling and where your money's coming from. So in January, I had 55% of my money came from page reads. I had a really good month for page reads, and I promoted it fairly heavily. 35% came from the sale of ebooks, 10% came from the sale of paperbacks. And that is going to be fairly typical. If you're a relatively new author, you won't have as many page reads because you don't have as many pages out there for people to read. But keep in mind, this is where the market has moved. It has moved overwhelmingly to ebooks for self-published authors, and much, much less now for paperbacks. I'll speak more to paperbacks in a minute or two. This is your top markets. This is my top markets for the month of January. This is what Amazon told me. 91% were the United States of America, 7% in the UK, 1% in Canada, 1% in the rest of the world. As a Canadian, I find this painful, but there is where your market is. So,
God bless America.
Yeah, all right. So you're going to get money from the sales of your ebooks. You're going to get money from the page reads of your ebooks as long as they're registered with Kindle Select. And when you do that, you can only put these up on Kindle on Amazon. You cannot offer your ebooks for sale if you hope to get page reads income off of them. You cannot offer them through Apple or Barnes & Noble. You cannot even offer them from your own website. Amazon will find you, and they'll just say, nope, you're out. You're kicked off the island, and you can no longer sell that book until you can prove to us that we have the exclusive right to it. But it is worth it. As I said in the last seminar, when I finally took my books off of everywhere else except Amazon and put them all up on Kindle Select, my income doubled. So paperback sales are a small part, but they are, you can increase them over time as you learn to sell to libraries and other places. Large print, and I mentioned this in the last seminar, it does not take much effort to change your books into the fonts which are specifically designed for visually impaired or seniors. That is the website where you can download the APF font or APF font. This is by the American Printing House for the Blind. It's free, and you can just reformat your book. It might take you, well, it took me a day to reformat all my books. And I now sell about 20 a month, but there's about $6 profit off of each one of them. Well, that adds up. That was a day's work, got me $120 a month, but then there's 12 months of it, and another 12 months and another 12 months. So it's a great service to do, and once you do it, it just gives you continuing residual income.
Thank you. We did have one question. We got two questions. One of them was repeated multiply, which is, what is a page read? Several people wanted to know, and I had to look at it a little closer to remind myself what that was. So that's for people that have bought Kindle Unlimited, right?
Yes. All right. If you register your books, when you post them on Amazon, they'll say, do you want to register it in Kindle Select? And if your book is an ebook and it's valued under $9.99, then I strongly suggest you do it. And then what happens is that people who subscribe to Kindle Unlimited, and they pay a monthly subscription fee, can borrow a book, any book, for free. But the author then gets 50 cents a page for every page they read, and Amazon can track it. So by all means, do that. Now, Amazon has its own way of deciding how many pages you actually have. So it doesn't matter your font size, doesn't matter if you're reading off a phone or off a monitor. It doesn't matter how big your paragraph spaces are apart, how much white space you have in your page. Amazon will just simply use their formula and say, this book has 273 pages. And that is what, and if somebody reads it, you are allocated 273 page reads at 50 cents a page. But it really, really does add up. And I'm going to flip back to one of my screens again. And if I can. All right, this was my month. my month of January, and 310,302 pages have been read so far. Well, you divide that by half a cent a page, that's, it adds up. So that is a stream of income. I strongly recommend it from my experience. Now, if you are writing and publishing books that are nonfiction and they're more academic or scientific, and you price them at over $9.99, then this does not apply to you. But for all of you who are writing travel memoirs or short fiction or romance or short nonfiction books, by all means post them on Kindle Select, and then you will be given the income from your page reads as well.
Craig, just two things. Pat in Powell River is mentioning that he didn't see that you didn't switch screens to that last screen you were talking about. And so what we see right now is show me the Amazon money. There, I think that's the one. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, if you could just briefly summate that.
All right, those are my page reads for every day for the month of January. Look, I hit a record page read day. 14,790 pages of my books got read by people that borrowed them. And as a result, I earned 147 divided by 2, so $72 that day from page reads. These do add up, and they are a very significant part of your stream of income from Amazon.
That is with your 200 books that you have up, right? Total?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. Now, but what happens as well is that most of your page reads, these books that got these are my compendium books, and I'll talk about that in a second, but these are the newest books. They tend to get the most page reads. So there are exceptions that people will read your backlist as well, but if you keep putting books up, people will read them. And it doesn't matter, you don't need 200 books to get numbers like this. You need 4 or 5 that are relatively recent, because that's where the bulk of your reads are going to come from.
Okay, and just a reminder to everybody, if this feels like it's whizzing past you quickly, this will be posted online, charslanding.com, and Charlene Patterson and Carl, they're going to post that this for us later in the week. So you'll be able to go back and take your time and go back to things. So if it feels like it's going back pretty quick, don't worry about that. Sorry, Craig, go ahead.
Okay, this is my lifetime of page reads. And what happened, I started writing books back in 2014, 2000, whatever. I put one of them up on Kindle Select, and then a couple more. Then in the fall of 2017, I cut out every other avenue and put all my books up on Kindle Select, and that's what happened to my page reads. All of a sudden, they took off at an average of about 2 million page reads a year, and 6,800,000, whatever. That is really gratifying. That means that somebody out there is actually reading what in the world I'm writing. So back to whatever else. Issue your books in large print if you can, if that makes sense for you. It's a great service, and it does just give you another stream of income. It is very common, once you've published 3 or 4 books, to put them together in a collection set, a box set, and you can have 4 books available for a discount, so that maybe 2/3 of the price if you bought them individually, or half price. People love bargains. I also do compilation books. Now, these are not available in paperback. They're only available as ebooks because they're way too long, but people will download these if they can get them to borrow for free if they belong to Kindle Unlimited, or they're still much cheaper to buy this, and then they just keep reading and reading and reading. I now have about 2 million words almost published on Sherlock Holmes. And this one, where I put 40 of the stories together, it's got well over 1 million words in it. It is absolutely the best source of income that I have from all my books. So don't just put up a paperback and an ebook. Put them on for page reads, put large print, do your box sets, do compilation sets, put all those up there on Amazon. And if you're wondering why I have 200 books, well, I wrote 50 of them, but then if you do 50 as ebooks, 50 as paperback, 50 as large print, and then a whole bunch as compilations and box sets, that's where a lot of the 200 comes from. I didn't write 200 books, I assure you.
Okay, so we have a question from Louise on, I'm not clear on the compilation read. Can you clarify this? It's just where it's like you've collected a selection of stories or books and you put it together as one thing, right?
Yes, now I think I can expand for everybody. You should see up here, I put up 2 super collections. One has 25 stories, the other has 24 stories. And they're all in one, they're all in ebook. So if they download that and start to read it, one, I get a decent income because it's a more expensive book, but the real income is when they belong to Kindle Unlimited, and then I get the page reads. So highly recommend doing those compilations as well. Once you've got 4 or 5 books under your belt, put them all together, make them available through Kindle Unlimited, and then make sure that your price can be at $9.99, which is a maximum you can do for Kindle Unlimited. But then people will read. And once they start one, if they like your stories, they like your books, they'll just keep reading.
Okay, we have a question from Chuck Hobbs about, do you need a separate ISBN for each version of the book?
No, for ebooks, you do not need an ISBN. For paperback books, you do need an ISBN, and you do need a separate ISBN for the large print book. Okay, because now, if you're publishing traditionally, maybe that would not apply, but you actually have to publish a separate paperback book in large print. It will have the same story, it'll have the same cover enlarged, but you will need a separate ISBN for that. For your collection sets, if you're doing them in paperback, yes, you need a separate ISBN because it's a different book. ISBNs can be shared if there are only small differences between the books. Let's say you do a second edition and you change the font. You don't need a new ISBN. If you do a second edition and you change the story, change the ending, change the pictures, change the names of the characters, change the setting, do all sorts of stuff to change it, then it's a different book and you need a different ISBN.
Okay, we have a question from Laura. What do you need to get a paperback or hardcover book accepted by a library? ISBN, LOC. Yeah, you need ISBN.
You do. For a paperback book to get in a library, you must have an ISBN. And then it's a whole different process for getting books into library than getting them up on Amazon. Now, that's beyond the reach of this particular seminar, but there are books available on Amazon on how to get your self-published books into libraries. There are videos on YouTube on how to get your self-published books into libraries. And just go to those places, read that, follow it, and if worst comes to worst, start taking your book around to your local library and saying, would you like to carry this as a local author? That's a great way to start. It will not get you into libraries in South Carolina or Erie and Jaya, but it's a great way to start. And beyond that, yes, try to get them into libraries, but that's beyond what I can cover here.
That's for a print book focus, right? Okay, so you're going to recap these goals for us then.
Well, your goals are, you're going to consistently add readers to your email list. You're going to constantly build sales of all formats and page reads, and then you're going to expand. Okay, right. And keeping in mind that, can't remember which crime writer it was, Mickey Spillane or something like that, commented that your first page sells your book. Your last page sells your next book. In the world today of Amazon, keep in mind that your 5th book will also sell your first book if that's the first one they read, and will sell your backlist. Your first book will sell your 10th book. Your series will sell itself. So constantly build these and then slowly but surely expand. Now, this is quite critical. how to build and grow your own email list. Now, it is important, I think, to have your own email list. There's a wonderful writer, incredibly successful, writing out of Kelowna, named Jonas Saul. He has built a huge following. He's earned a lot of money. He's living the life and spends a good part of the winter on some Greek island. He's been exceptionally successful. When I asked him about emailing and whatever else, he doesn't do it. He built his entire list of followers through BookBub, and it's worked wonderfully well for him. And there's only one danger. He does not own that email list. If BookBub goes under, that goes under with him. Same thing for your Facebook followers. You need to have your own people and own that list. So that's my recommendation. And you do that by establishing an account. Let's change that. An account with an email marketing service like MailChimp or Constant Contact or Aweber or ConvertKit or half a dozen others. And that's where we're now going to go. Okay, MailChimp. I started with MailChimp. I stuck with MailChimp. I did it because it was, they had a very, very good introductory package, which was that you could have up to 2,000 people on your mailing list for free, like no charge at all. So for the first couple of years, I didn't pay MailChimp a cent. I sent out all my emails regularly, cost me nothing. Now, once you get up over 2,000, it does get a little pricier, but it's an incredibly useful service. And I will just now open up MailChimp. I am now on my list of subscribers. There they are. And MailChimp keeps that list, and I can mail directly from them. And I'm going to go over to my campaigns. I'm just going to have to move some things around.
And let me mention while you're looking that up, Craig, is that if you are in this room and you want to be on Craig's email list, you can message him your email. That's one great way, is to follow someone who's doing it well and see how it's done.
Okay, email and MailChimp. Every time you get an email, you need a process by which it will drop automatically into your audience on MailChimp. And now on this particular list, I have 2,300 email addresses. And there they are. There they are. Yes, there they are. All these people subscribed. Now, somebody unsubscribed. And what I will do, I will now tick them and archive them, because otherwise I will have to pay for them. And I don't want to pay for them. So you have to get rid of them. Now they're gone. Secondly, you also want to review your list fairly regularly. MailChimp and other services do the same thing. They'll assign these people stars as to whether they're really good recipients or duds. So these are 2-star. Now, oh, there's somebody who's a 1-star. That means they haven't opened anything, but they only just subscribed a couple of days ago. So, well, that's not too bad. If I have a 1-star that subscribed more than, like, let me see. These are all recent, and we will.
You know what? This is something that we will be blacking out on the recording anyway, because we don't want to share this information.
Okay, good point.
Thought. So this is something that you can learn. It takes a little while. It took me about an afternoon to master. Yeah, you could get out of that actually.
All right, I was speaking very specifically to culling your list. You want to build a list, but you don't want duds. So here's a person that was only a 1-star, but they subscribed back in 2017. I really don't want them on the list. So anybody that is a 1-star and is more than 2 years old, get rid of them and keep building your list and culling it. Now, when somebody clicks on your ad, anything which will drive them, and I'll come to this in a minute, they must be taken to what we call your squeeze page. So anybody that clicks on any one of my notices or ads, they open up on this page, and I give away 3 new Sherlock Holmes mysteries for free. And in return for that, I get their email address and name. And those are the 3 books they get, and they go out automatically through MailChimp. And set up a process like that for yourself, and make sure that you've got something which will introduce them to your reading, and you want something which will trap their names and their email addresses. Now I'm going to go back just a bit, and
Mark had a clever note. He said, dude, if he picks my email and calls me a dud.
Okay.
Great. Yeah.
All right.
And
So
also, I just wanted to mention that Craig is going to add the list of registrants here. And you, since you're interested in his workshop, you can then unsubscribe like you can from any emailing list. Is that right, Craig?
probably not, because most of these people are not Sherlock Holmes fans, and they won't read my stories, and that's the reason I would send it out.
Okay.
And if I send it out to you now that I'm way over the free limit, and I send out to another 100 people that are never going to buy one of my books, then that's just going to cost me for no good reason. So, but if you do want to get in touch with me, you're more than welcome to. You can do that through my website, and I'll pull that up in a minute. So first thing, you need to set up an account with an email marketing service. You need a squeeze page or your author read site where readers can enter the names and email address. The data must fall then into your email address list on your service provider. Go to MailChimp or your similar service, follow the instructions, set up a squeeze page. I had mine done for me by website host people and designers. They did a great job, so they looked after that, but you can do it yourself, or you can go to your local internet guru and say, please set this up for me. It's not difficult to do, but you need to have a way that automatically captures somebody's name and email address. There's some debate about this now. Some people say all you need is email address. I ask for the names because emails that have a personal name in them get opened more often. So in order to do that, you need to offer something for free that people will respond to. And this is referred to as your book magnet. If they click on it, it takes them to the squeeze page. They claim the gift in exchange for the name and email address. This is how you build an email list. Find something free to offer, and I'll talk in a minute about where that is, how that is done. When they click on it, they go to your squeeze page, you get their name and email address, and this builds your list. And you do it slowly, but you do it methodically, and you just keep doing it. MailChimp and other services also have a facility whereby the minute, or it can be immediately, it can be an hour later, it can be a day later, but they get a welcome letter from you, and that includes your next promotion. Now, I'm going to just flip over to that, and I think, yes, all right. If somebody downloaded my offer and they got their 3 free books, within an hour they get this email in the box. It says, welcome, I hope you're able to claim your 3 new books. Blah, 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 whatever. And by the way, here's a whole lot more books. And if you want to know more, go to this site, and so on. So it is very good to do that. And once you're up over a certain limit, once you're beyond the free level, you can send a sequence of follow-up emails, keeping in mind that the people who are your most recent customers are the most likely to be your next customers. Okay, if somebody hasn't bought from you for a year, they're very unlikely to buy again. If they bought from you yesterday, they are more likely to buy from you again tomorrow. So keeping immediate contact with people is important. Keeping continuing contact with new subscribers is important. And back we go.
All right. Maybe, is this a good time to catch up on some questions?
Sure, let's go.
All right. Okay. So we had a question about copywriting your work. I think we might have addressed that last week. Do you copyright your work?
The minute something is published, it is automatically copyrighted. So, and you put that notice in every one of your books that you have a copyright page right after the title page. Now, in addition to that, you may apply to the Canadian Intellectual Property Office and ask for a certificate of copyright. I recommend doing this for every one of your books. It costs $50 a piece, but then there's no question ever. And occasionally, because I write in fan fiction, Amazon has occasionally said, can you prove that this is your own and this is not subject to somebody else's copyright? And of course, I can send a picture of that certificate to them and say, yes, I am the sole holder of this copyright. You do not, so yes, you do that. Do that for everything you do. Put a full copyright page in everything you publish. Some people put it at the end of an ebook for the sole reason that when people look inside stuff on Amazon, they want to get to the content right away and not have their pages taken up with front matter. But by all means, put it in every book to say
Pat,
that it is copyright.
Pat wants to know, do you have to worry about, wait, where did it go? Do you have to worry about copyright in different countries? There are places where they're terrible at respecting copyright laws, but if you look at where Craig's readership is coming from, it's mostly the States, which respects copyright. Then there's Britain and a little sliver of Canada there. So those are,
yeah,
they have extradition treaties and stuff.
Most extradition, well, okay, but yes, there's universal copyright agreements in place. But the other thing is, don't worry about it. If somebody in, I'll pick on a country, Bangladesh, steals a book from you that is not, they didn't buy it and they got it from a pirated edition, they were never going to buy your book anyway. So if they're out there and they're enjoying it for free, just let them have at it. You're not losing anything. If somebody even tries to sell you, if somebody's trying to copy your books and sell them under your name, then you need to take action. But that is extremely rare.
All right. We do have a couple of other quick questions. There's quite a bit to learn how to do. How much of your time as a writer is spent managing all this versus writing and producing new material? I'm gathering, since you're pretty prolific, you've got it underhand.
All right. If you are going to sell your books, like it or not, you need to do something every day to sell your books. And I'll move on to this more, but if you're a full-time writer, spend an hour a day marketing. If you're a part-time writer, spend at least 10-15 minutes a day marketing. Keep posting your books, and I'll touch on this in another minute or two, in as many places as you can. Free places, just post constantly until, you don't want to do so much that people think you're a nuisance or spamming, but by all means, you've got to keep yourself out there. Last year, I laid off. We lived overseas for a while. I wasn't writing as aggressively. I spent weeks without doing any marketing, and sure enough, the sales and the page reads simply dropped. So you've simply got to keep doing it.
And if you're marketing traditional books, it's more. There's more to be done because you're trying to work with a traditional press. If you're traditionally published, then your publisher is going to want to set you up with some opportunities and stuff. It is something that it's good to manage, to master as much of the marketing stuff as possible, and it varies with what you're doing. I had another question way back there, and I thought, Craig, we could talk about it, which was, who gets into the head of men better when they're writing, women or men? It's a little off topic. I just wanted to,
okay,
right? And if you look at Nicholas Sparks and all the books, he can make women cry at a drop of a hat. So it's not necessarily a gender thing, but I just wanted to say these two books are tremendously helpful for emotional understanding. One is the negative trait thesaurus, a writer's guide to character traits. And this is the emotional wound thesaurus, a writer's guide to psychological trauma.
Okay, and beyond that, Jackie, I'm not going to go into how to write inside a woman's head. It's way off topic, and you're a braver man than I am if you choose to try it. So let's go back to the Facebook ads. We are going to have to place ads which have a connection to our book magnet. Okay, and where are you going to place them? First of all, you're going to place stuff on Facebook, and you're going to put an ad on for your friends and for your own author page. And I'm just going to take a second now and flip, if I can, over to my Facebook page. And there it is. And you can see on my Facebook page, I put up the blurb about this seminar. If I go a little farther down, I put up a blurb about the book that I've just released. I'm not offending too many of my friends. I write some personal stuff as well, but you can see that I'm constantly promoting my own books. Now, I very deliberately expanded my list of friends to over 4,000, and I chose mainly writers, and especially people who are writing in the same genre or reading in the same genre, because writers buy books, and they're some of the best possible customers you can have. So if you want to build your Facebook friend page, search for other writers, ideally search for other writers who are writing in your genre, because they're going to buy your books. And then you also can set up your own business page, and I'm going to see if I can get it back into this. For some reason and there we have it. And we're now just waiting for the internet to come up, but this is now my author page on Facebook, which should not look that blank. You are now, there we go. I'm International New Sherlock Holmes Mysteries. That is not it. That's the Bootmakers. Why did that one come up? Don't want that.
I think it just had you interacting. Is that if you search Facebook?
No, it's quite all right. This should come up again. And there we have it. All right, so that is my new Sherlock Holmes Mysteries. I post on it quite often about my books. And I've got about 900 followers now that just grew over the last few years, but anytime I do anything new, it goes up on there. So the Facebook is not a great place to sell your books. It is a very good place to give them away in exchange for their email and name. So yes, this is the ad. Now, MailChimp has a facility where they are directly linked with Facebook. And you can design your ad in MailChimp quite easily. And then you tell them exactly where you want to place it. This is an ad that I put out through MailChimp onto Facebook. And you target it. So teenagers are not reading original or Sherlock Holmes fan fiction. They're not reading it in Mexico. So I target United States, Canada, UK. My audience is men and women 40 years of age and older, and keywords like mysteries, like Sherlock Holmes, like reading, and you then target it, and then you watch the results. And ideally, you should be able to sign up one new person for each ad, for each dollar you spend on Facebook. It might run as high as 2. If it gets beyond that, you probably need to redesign your ad and keep working at it until you get one which generates enough clicks for people to respond to. Now, I will just pop over to this one. These are my campaigns. And this is my current campaign on Facebook. I've had 18,000 impressions, 484 people clicked. That's pretty good. Now, that doesn't mean I got 484 new subscribers. Those that clicked, they ended up on my website or my squeeze page, and not every one of them will sign up. If I get 50 or 100 out of that, I'm very happy. So that was the one which I did. Here's another one. This was 6 free stories. And you can see the other ones. This one I did through the US. This was the UK. The UK had a poorer ratio, but they gave me a lot more impressions for the same price. I don't know what the rhyme or reason is for it, but that's the way you do it. So develop an ad, either directly on Facebook or on MailChimp, place it on Facebook, target it very specifically, and try to use it to get people to click, to go to your squeeze page, to download your free offer, your book magnet, and then respond to them immediately. That is the process which works. Any questions on that one?
Any questions? I'm not seeing any questions on this right now, but it might be a likely place, since we're at 3:05, to take like a 3-minute break, just a 3-minute sort of bio break, if people are cool with that. Does that make sense, Craig?
Okay.
All right. The timer is ticking, and you have 3 minutes to run and feed the dog, or grab a mug of tea or something. All right. And if you have questions, this is a good time to put them in the participant chat panel, and we'll make a note of these, and I will make a note of these, and if they are germane, we will address them.
I just have to, oh, sorry.
Your dog thanks you for the break. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Carl?
So we're just trying to go by our list, and there's some names that we don't know who they actually are. So if they register under another name, if they could just let us know in the chat. I've been chatting to them. No one's been answering me, so we need to know so we can make a reference.
All right, so we have some people in the room who are, the name that's on their screen is not the name that they registered for this workshop under. So if you could scratch your brain and see what name it was that you registered under, and send a little note to Carl Corvin, that would be great, because we need to link up our mailing list and our names, our registrants. It's really important for us. So you can just send Carl a little note and say, hi, I'm actually King Kong, whatever, Charles Dickens.
Actually, if you can send it to Char.
Send it to, okay, which one then, Carl?
Char's chat window.
Wait, so Char's chat window, is that Char's landing stage? Is that the one?
It says V Char's chat window. Was this her picture?
Char's chat window.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, Jacqueline. Carl and I will take care of this. You go get your tea.
Aha.
I wonder if Bob could. The Bob that is on. Can you please show your video? That might help us, Char.
Yeah, I really think that one is Joyce and Bob, Joe Lunch Bucket. It's okay.
One that's trying to connect?
Yeah, we're looking for Margot.
Yes, yeah, that's the one I could think is Margaret, because I have I have a one with MMML, but that's all I had, right? For the initials was MMML. So.
All right, Craig, we have a couple of questions. Angelica would like to know if we can get a copy of your notes. And
oh, that'd be a good idea.
And then Mark wants to know if MailChimp delivers the free books for you. I don't think I think everything MailChimp does goes back to you, and then you kind of facilitate it, right? That's what I was thinking. Laura was wondering about other social media sites. Do you advertise like on LinkedIn? Craig? You are muted, Craig. Oh, so Charlene, you want to unmute him? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, I am now unmuted. All right. Sorry, are we ready to go again?
No, yeah, well, and just give them another minute, one more minute.
Well, we've already gone
Okay, yeah,
five, we said 3, so on we go.
okay, on we go.
Where are you going to place your ads in order to attract followers and capture their email names and addresses? First of all, on Facebook on your page, second on your author page, and third in your genre and in your community. Now, for example, I belong to the Sherlock Holmes nutters of the world, and I post constantly on their site. So for example, I'm going to go back to Facebook and my groups. These are all the groups to which I belong. And you can see there's a lot of groups that say Sherlock Holmes in them. I post something on those sites depending on the number of people that belong to them. If the biggest site may have 20,000 people, I can post on that every day without becoming annoying. This site, for example, only has 180 members. So I would only post it maybe once a week. But I post constantly. I'm a regular within my community. If you are writing about subspecies of vampires, find the group on Facebook that belongs to that and post and make contributions and become known within that community. Second is that there are many groups on Facebook which are free promotion sites. And I'm just scrolling down. You can see them, yes. Great Deals, Kelowna Writers Group, there we go. Sherlock Holmes, Mystery Lovers, Author, Book Place, Passion for Books, Free Mysteries. These places all have, 37,000 people subscribe to this particular book promotion site. So I post on many of these, ideally every day and at least 4 or 5 times a week. It only takes 10 or 15 minutes to copy and paste an ad and a link on all these general book promotion sites. It is a shotgun approach, and a lot of this will be wasted. But when you have a shotgun, one of those pellets hits something. And if
those are free posts.
These are all free. I'll talk later about paid posts, but these are all free places to post. So just go into Facebook, go into the search and say book promotion sites and keep searching and keep searching. These will all come up and you'll find ones that you think, okay, well, this one has 25,000 people posting on it. This one has Victorian Adventures, which fits where I am, has only 1,600, but Passion for Books, for example, has 115,000 people. Now that also means it's got a lot of people posting. So you're going to be buried amongst a lot of other posts, but you just keep it up. Most of them do not want you to post more than once a day, but you can absolutely post once a day, except on some of the smaller groups as part of your genre, because I might pull up a group that only has 100 Sherlock Holmes nutters in it, and I may see that the last post that went up was something I put up. I'm not seeing, okay, so I haven't seen a recent one by me, time for me to put up another ad on this particular site. You post your ad constantly, and you do it primarily to get people to sign up to your site with their email, name, and address. Facebook is great that way. Use the paid ads on Facebook through MailChimp and post constantly on the free book promotion sites, and slowly but surely your email list will grow.
Another measure of that success is if people start following you, right? So your little ad, your little notice that you post on one of those might fly by a lot of people pretty quick, but even if they start to follow you then your news will become part of their feed. So that's another way that they eventually might make their way to your squeeze page, right?
Yes. So on Facebook, these are the ways you do it. Post on your page, post on your author page, post within your genre community, post on the free general book promotion pages, and then use the paid ads that you use a target, and you can either do that directly through your Facebook account or you can do it through MailChimp. Now, you also will promote your work through Amazon directly. One of the best ways, cheap ways, free ways to promote your work is through your own books. So your first book sells your second, your first book sells your 23rd. I'm just going to flip over now and see if this works and bring up all right, this is a book I posted. I wrote a year or two ago. It was a tribute to the story, The Six Napoleons of the original Sherlock Holmes, and I wrote about the return of Napoleon. I wrote it as a pseudo ghost story. But that's the cover of the book as it came up. But as soon as I open it up, there's an ad for page reads from my collections. Then there's another ad that says you can get your 3 free books if you sign up here and click, and it takes you right to my squeeze page. Then it gets into the story. All right, fine, so far so good. And on we go, and there's the dedication, but partway through, you'll see this note. It is, and I'll talk to this again in a minute, it is a request for people to post an honest, constructive review on Amazon. Reviews are important. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Then we go through the story, and I'm just going to scroll down, and you're going to see this, the pages go past, and one of the nice things about ebooks is you can put in color pictures for no additional charge. And here we go, and now we're working our way through the story. Pictures of Nelson, pictures of Napoleon, pictures of Sherlock. But when we get to the end of the story, right, again, it has a request for somebody to put a review, but then, and then this note, there's something special. It says, here's the first chapters of your next Sherlock Holmes mystery. And the next one in the series, they get the first 2 chapters of it. And of course, once they've read the first 2 chapters, they can't read anymore unless, of course, they go to Amazon and buy it. So to read the rest of the story, just cut and paste this or click on one of the links. And you can see those are all links back to Amazon for the rest of the book. So it's a great way to get them to buy the next book in the series and the next book and the next book. So use your books as one of your primary tools for promoting the next book. Now, at the end of every book that I've ever put up are several pages with links to every other book I've ever written. And there they are. These are all live links in the ebook with a little blurb about each story, and it is one of the cheapest, most effective ways of promoting sales of your next books. So your own book is a very good way to sell your next book. Free books. On Amazon, and again, I'll just have to take a minute to pull this up.
Yeah, just a quick question. Can everybody hear Craig say something in the chat if you can hear him? I have had somebody that said they're having an audio issue, so I just want to make sure that people can hear. Good. Okay, Margot, then I think what has happened is you may have turned off your sound inadvertently. Okay.
Okay. Another way that you can use Amazon to help you, and this is for free, but if you go, this is now my Amazon account page, and this was the book we were just looking at. And over here it says I can promote and advertise, clicking on that. And it says, here's 2 ways that you can promote and advertise. You can either do a countdown deal or you can do a free book promotion. This book is currently on for free. If any of you want it, you can click on it and you download it for free. But Amazon also allows you to do a countdown deal. And that's basically where you take over a period of 5, 6, 7 days, your book, which would be normally priced at $4, is drop the price, and ends up for 4 or 5 days at 99 cents, and then goes back up again. This is a great program, and you need to do it to the maximum. You can only do it for each book once every 3 months, but you should be doing it once every 3 months. And the advantage of this in the pricing of Amazon books, if you normally price your book at 99 cents, you get a lot of sales, but only a 30% commission. So 33 cents. If you use it on the countdown at 99 cents, you still sell an awful lot of books, but you get a 70% commission. So you get 70 cents for each 99-cent book you promoted. Now that works, and it gets your books into the hands of more people, and they see more books. So keep doing it. Use the Amazon free book and use the countdown book. The free book, fine, you're giving them away. My dad worked for his whole career with Sears, Simpson Sears. They had a adage within the business, which is any fool can give away the merchandise. That is true, but if you give away enough books, people are going to see your next book and they're going to buy it. So it's just a way of promoting yourself. So do it, and do it on a fairly regular basis. And particularly the countdown deals, use them as often as you can, and make your make your book available. And now you should see back on my notes again. Yes, yes. Okay. External promotion sites. If you really want to move ahead as a self-supporting author, you have to be prepared to pay to play. All these things you can do for free are useful, but they are very limited in their effectiveness. You can do a lot of free book promotion sites and offers on Facebook, but you won't see a huge result for the number of times that it's posted. I mentioned that one site that had 115,000 people. You can post on that daily, and you might only see a few actual free books being downloaded as a result. So I'm going to now move over to some of the external promotion sites, and I would direct everybody to a page at organization, I'm gonna just move that out, called Reedsy, R-E-E-D-S-Y. This is a fabulous organization. It has this website. It has huge amounts of information for authors and self-published authors. Under tools, it has a list of the book promotion sites, free and paid services in 2021. It has a blurb on all sorts of places you can go to promote your book. Now, some of them are free, some of them cost. And you can look up on each end. They say book promotion from $20. Well, maybe 20, maybe 50, maybe 100. This one's for 18. Some of them are free. That's $5 and $5. So go to this site, pick several free sites and use them constantly, and then test some of the paid sites. Now, you can see they got 5 pages of them. The most powerful site out there is BookBub. It is also by far the most expensive. So if you want to promote on BookBub, that is great, but you might be looking at a bill of $1,000 to $2,000, $600 if you're cheap, but it will result in your books selling and books getting read for free. It is very powerful. There are millions of people subscribe to it. I happen to be using a site called Written Word Media because they have some excellent offers. Now, when I have paid, it cost me $90 to promote a book on Written Word Media. And when I've done that, I've ended up giving away 5,000 copies. They're ebooks. It doesn't cost me anything beyond the promotion, but there's been an immediate lift to my page reads and my book sales when people got 5,000 copies of one of my books. So you need to be promoting your books on paid sites and free sites outside of Facebook and Amazon. And now I'm going to try to get myself back to my notes so I remember what it is I have to cover next. Okay. Amazon allows you to set up your own author page on what they call Author Central. And you need to do this because people find out information about you through Author Central. They can ask to follow you, and you can keep adding every time you put a new book up. You can put it up there. You can put up a fairly long bio about yourself. And if I can find it, I'm now going to flip over to Amazon. No, that's not where I want to be, and that's not where I want to be. So let's see if this pulls it up. There's my Author Central page. I need to update my photo. That one is looking a little dated, but such is life. So here are all my books that have come up, and my bio is there. There's all sorts of things. This is free on Amazon once you set up an account. All of your books can go up, and they encourage you to do this. And they'll even promote your series, and on you go. So that is another way that you can promote yourself and both build your list and sell your books using the services of Amazon itself. And finally, you want reviews. As soon as you post your book, do whatever you can through your family, friends, anybody to get them to buy a copy and to post a constructive, honest review. You cannot pay people to post 5-star reviews. Amazon will jump all over it, but you can just say, please buy the book, please post a review. If they're your friends, your family, if it has the same family name, Amazon will not will not publish it, or at least they'll publish it but may take it down. But by all means, get them up there. Reviews are critical. And there are paid services now which say you pay us $300 and we'll get you 10 honest reviews. No, you can do that, but it's easier just to keep asking for reviews in your book. At the start of your book, you ask people, if you enjoy this, please post a review. When they get to the end of the book, right after the words "the end" or the final little paragraph, post a note. Did you enjoy this book? Are there ways it could have been improved? Please help the author and future readers by posting a constructive review. Just keep on asking. And about 1 in 100 might post a review, but eventually those add up. And reviews are important. Don't worry if some troll gives you a 1-star review and says something nasty. It is actually not a bad indicator that your reviews were organic and honest if there's a couple on there that are not really thrilling. But ideally, you want to have an average over 3.5 to 4.5 star review. It is highly unlikely that you'll get everybody posting a 5-star review. That's just not the way it works. And I had one fellow that gave me a low review. He said, it was a really, really great story. I really enjoyed it, but I had trouble downloading the free book, so I'm giving you 1 star. There are people out there like that. You can't beat it. Just keep asking for reviews. It is important to get them. Okay, any questions on that stuff so far on Amazon, Jackie?
Yeah, we had one from Craig, which is, once you publish a book on Kindle, can you update the contents? For example, if you publish some new books, can you go into your first book and add free chapters or purchase links to those earlier books? And there are very specific rules about that with the Kindle Unlimited, aren't there? Like days, how long it'll take you, if you take it down, how long it'll take you to get back up, that sort of thing.
No. They won't take it down. What they will do is that it'll still be live, waiting for a review of your changes. So if I post a change in one of my books, and yes, you can do it, you just go onto your website, and just let me take you back there for half a second if I can. All right, so let's say I came down to this book, the Hudson Valley Mystery. Now, I would go over to promote and advertise and say ebook content. You can open that up and upload an updated manuscript. And what we'll show is that it is live, but new contents are in review. So yes, you can update, and ebooks update very, very quickly. They say it may take you up to 72 hours, but usually it's within a day or half a day. It's very, very quick with what they can do now. So answer to the question is yes, absolutely. You can keep revising your content, add new books to the back pages as you post them. If you want to post a page that's, actually of the reviews that people have posted, they said nice things about you, and you want to put that in the front of the book or the back of the book, you can do that, and then just update and post the new Word file up to your ebook. And you can do that with your paperback backs as well. You just have to make a new PDF and launch it.
Okay, we had a question from somebody who wanted to know if you use YouTube for book promotion, and maybe how, I guess, might be,
All right, I'm going to touch on that later when I talk about expanded ways to promote it, and YouTube is certainly one of them.
All right, I'll keep tab of the questions. You plow ahead.
Okay, and back we go. So this is how Amazon helps you promote and sell your books. Within your own books, you give away free books, you do the countdowns, you use test and use those promotion sites, use the list off of Reach. There's other lists on Google. There's one that says 127 free and paid book promotion sites. Post in your Author Central, get reviews, and that's all the thing. Amazon wants you to sell your books because, of course, that's how they make billions and billions of dollars. There's another whole service called Goodreads, and Goodreads is actually now owned by Amazon. It's a site for people that read, and I'm going to pull up their site. You should post regularly on Goodreads. There are books out there, and there are seminars on how to use Goodreads to promote your books. I don't use it extensively because a lot of the information is flops over from Amazon anyway. But if you are somebody who enjoys using the Goodreads sites, if you're using it now yourself as a reader, then by all means, keep updating yourself. Ask people to follow you, tell them, refer them to your site, your page on Goodreads. It's a great way to do it, but it doesn't have a huge, I haven't found it to be incredibly successful, but other people have. So if it works for you, do it, give it a shot. Now, how do you get sales and page reads? Every time you bring out a book, you need to launch it. You don't just post it. You need to tell people that it's coming. You can put it on Amazon for pre-order. You could do that 2 or 3 weeks in advance. You tell everybody that your book is coming. You say if you buy it during the first week or during the pre-order, you're going to get it at a discount, or you're going to get a free book with it. Whatever you do, but tell the whole world that the book is coming through your Facebook page, through your community genre pages. Let them know. Send out your newsletter to all your followers with the link to your pre-order page on Amazon. Tell them it's coming. All right. You launch your book. There are videos very specifically, and I'll hit those in a minute, on how to launch your book. You need to send regular emails to your growing list of followers. Every 2 weeks, send them something. You post on your author page, you post in your genre community, you post on these sites, use these paid ads, Google ads. Google ads are a whole different field. They're quite expensive, and they're particularly useful for relatively expensive things, and mainly for nonfiction. People post on Google, it costs you the same for a Google ad that posts a $2,000 vacation as it does for a $2 book. So give it a try. If it does work, great, but it may not be appropriate for you as a startup author. You're going to integrate your countdowns, and once you've done this, here's where you can expand. Ingram Spark is a very good service for getting your paperback books out into stores and libraries. Pull up Ingram Spark, teach yourself how to use it, or go to Fiverr and ask for people to format and post your books for Ingram Spark. They can do it. You can send out press releases, media releases to your local newspapers. You can give local interviews and library talks. You can have your books in the stalls with local merchants. Independent cafes may have a book rack where they sell local authors. You can sell directly off your website. This requires you to get a commercial sales software attached to your website. You can do that through WordPress, or if you have a professional website designer, they can set up a commercial software where you can sell your books directly to your readers. Now, keep in mind that you cannot get your Kindle Unlimited and Kindle Select page reads if you're also selling the book off your own website. When Amazon says exclusive, they mean exclusive, and that includes you. You cannot have them sell an exclusive book that is also available directly from you on your website. So can't do that. They won't let you, and they will find you. Some of you may be familiar with Patreon. If you're not, look it up. Some authors have used it very effectively. And basically, you just say, you can be my patron, and you just keep sending me a few dollars a month, which encourages me to write these fabulous books. I don't do it, but I actually support a couple of others who I think are doing terrific work. Check it out. You can make YouTube videos, and one, you can use YouTube videos to promote your work. Now, you have to remember that in order to find a YouTube video, because there's like a billion of them, people need to be driven there from some other source. So they need keywords, they need very specific keywords that'll bring your YouTube video up sometime on the first page. So it takes a lot of work, but if you've got something which is really, really interesting and unique, and you're an expert in it, or you're really enthusiastic about it, then by all means post a YouTube video, but please make sure that it is of sufficient quality that people aren't going to look at it and go, oh, this guy's really an amateur. Now, the other way that YouTube videos add to you and to your business is when you have AdSense, Google AdSense ads attached to them. So these are the ads that appear alongside a YouTube video, and if somebody clicks on it, you get a few cents, but it does add up. You can take on speaking engagements. You can go to a conference and charge yourself, or they may offer you $100 or $200 to come and speak about whatever you're an expert at. Draft to Digital is another service which takes your books fairly widely out to libraries and bookstores. It's useful to pull that up. ClickBank is for affiliate marketing. So basically somebody else can get a chunk of every sale. You have to be careful, again, that you cannot have books available through ClickBank merchants that you're also selling as ebooks and want to keep registered with Amazon exclusively. You can become an Amazon affiliate. If people go to your website and you have an affiliate connection with Amazon, and then they click on one of your books, you get a few cents back for that click. That does add up. I don't do it. I probably should, but I can't be bothered. But it is another way to expand your income, expand your streams of income, and keep doing all this, and eventually you will have enough money to be a self-published author and live off your income. Now, any questions on that one before I go on to the YouTube channels?
No, we had a comment. We had a question as to whether or not you could post the link on your website to your book on Amazon, still get the page reads. The answer to that, of course, is yes, because you're just promoting and Amazon is still managing the sale, right?
Yes.
And the reads. We do have a question or a note from Leah. You should post a link on your own website to your book on Amazon. You can post links from all the social media platforms to your book on Amazon. And when you do, you should be sending them to your squeeze page first, so you get their email address, first name and last name in your mailing list. Now, Craig, when you get the name from the email from the squeeze page, do you do a merge in MailChimp so that you're sending it to their first name, like would mine come to Jackie, that sort of thing?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. And that's the reason that I ask for names, keeping in mind that asking for first and last names is a barrier to some people signing up. But, you know, I don't know what the numbers are on that, so I just keep asking.
I had a question about working with book bloggers, and I say, I mean, my own personal point of view on that is be really careful for people that want to charge you for doing promotion, just because it can go really quick.
Yes, there's all sorts of places out there that say, sign up here and I'll promote your book. I would tend to avoid them. There are some very good book bloggers out there. It's quite competitive to get on their blogs. By all means, check them out if you want to go that route. I haven't tried it, although other people have tried and found it successful. There's enough of them out there that are claiming that they're successful that must be working for somebody. But keep in mind that book bloggers tend to have a fairly specific audience. So I would need a book blogger that was really promoting historical mysteries, for example. There's no point going for me to go to a book blogger that concentrates on science fiction or shapeshifters or werewolves or whatever, because those aren't my readers. So if you can find a book blogger that is really catering to your audience, give it a try. Test it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it works, do it again and again.
I've had some success with my book because it's very educational, and so I've had educational book bloggers and podcasts feature it because it's educational. It's about World War I. It's of historical interest, and so if you have nonfiction that's got some very specific audiences, then you can look for those kind of connections.
All right, YouTube channels. These are all channels on YouTube. They're all free, and they are all connected to promoting your own self-published work. So take a screenshot of this. You can watch it again when this goes up on YouTube. I just can make a few passing comments. There's a young woman named Jacqueline, and she has regular videos that she calls Jacqueline Writes, and she also does it in cooperation with the Readsy organization. She's fabulous. She looks like she's 15 years old. She's probably closer to 30, but she just does these incredibly good short videos on every aspect of writing, every aspect of the writing life, all sorts of aspects about book promotion. So highly recommend her. Dale Roberts also has a regular series on self-publishing. Chris Fox, if you read his book, I will admit I copied a fair bit of what I said today off of what he has learned and taught me. He's very, very good, and I would recommend him. Amazon itself puts out regular videos, but they don't tell you exactly what the video is about. So you have to open it and get into it before you find out what specific topic they're addressing. There's a woman named Julie Broad, and she very specifically talks about launching your books, and that's the name of her channel is Book Launcher. Daniel Hall he's generally writing about how to be a self-published author. Fictionary is a fabulous site, just came on recently, for self-editing your books before you put them up. And it's got a software, and it's got all sorts of short videos on how to self-edit. Very useful. I'll skip down a bit. Creative Pen, Joanna Penn has been at this business now for several years. She has all sorts of videos out there. Many of them are her interviewing somebody else in the writing community about some aspect of writing or about self-publishing. These are all good people. So take a look at all of these, and then forget Netflix for the weekend and binge watch all this stuff. It'll take you a whole weekend to get through it, but it's got a fabulous amount of good information on it. Here are a few websites and newsletters that you can sign up for. These are all about self-publishing, self-publishing formula, self-publishing school. If you Google self-publishing, you can find all sorts of people that will send you a newsletter. Some send stuff out every day, some every week, some every month, but these are people who have done. Now, some of them are trying to get you to sign up to a course. You don't need to. everything that somebody can tell you on a course, you can learn by watching the videos, reading the books, and instead of spending $600 or $4,000, you can spend 20 or 40 and learn everything you need to learn. Do all of the above. Someday soon, sort of, you can quit your day job and live modestly as a writer, and I'm going to stop there.
All right, fantastic. Craig Copland, whoa, let's give it up for him. This is probably a good time, I think, to unmute you guys. Char and Carl, if you guys can help us with that. If anybody, this is a good time to dive in. And for starters, thank you so much, Craig Copeland, for your generous.
So if you can do it yourself, guys, just press the unmute button and go ahead.
Yeah, okay, great. Fantastic, thank you. Thank you, Craig. Yay.
Thank you, Craig.
My pleasure. It's a joy to do this.
Thank you.
All right. So, and first of all, a couple of things. If you love this and you're grateful for it and you realize I haven't paid a nickel, Craig has very generously donated his time for this to benefit charslanding.com. And so you can e-transfer, and it's on the screen, and I'll put it here in the chat so you can copy it too. It's e-transfer at charslanding.com, and it's probably the best. The best money you spent all week.
Mute, so we are giving you permission to unmute.
You can unmute. All right. So it's the best money you've spent all week if you want to send an e-transfer. Super generous. Thank you again, Craig, for doing that. And we're going to touch base and see if there's any other questions that have come up. Leah Murray had some good comments in there, and Leah's a real, she's a real handy gal with the computers and on the self-publishing side, so that's pretty neat. You can look at her comments. You can scroll up through the chat right now, and of course Charlene Patterson, who is Char's Landing, is going to make this available on YouTube, I believe, and there'll be links in other places. You want to follow her at Char's Landing. And Electric Mermaid are good places to kind of follow the literary things that are coming out of the Port Alberni Valley. And so she's going to put this whole thing up. Somebody was saying, oh, can I have Craig's notes? Better. You can have Craig tell you this again. You can scroll through it and find, what part of it that it was that you wanted to hone in on. Look at it again and again. So that's really fantastic. And got a few nice notes there. Can you show the screen again? Well, with the websites and newsletters, and Craig, and the other thing you might do, I don't know if you possibly can, Craig, if you could copy and paste that into the chat. That's a thought. I'm not sure if you can do it with your notes the way it is, but that's just something. And
I'm sure there is a way for me to do it, and I'm absolutely sure I don't know how. So
right, okay.
take a screenshot. This will be back on YouTube.
Or take a picture of it with your camera. Take your camera, get it pretty close to there, and take a picture of that page. And a screenshot is great too. I know with the Mac, it's like Shift Command 4. All of those at the same time will give you a cross.
But when you're also watching it back, you can just pause it, and then you can get stuff that way too.
Craig, if you unshare, then you can copy and paste it into the chat window.
Okay, unshare your screen there, Craig, and that'll give us a last glorious look at your face there too. Super. Look at this group. That's fantastic. What a nice looking bunch.
Three. Woohoo.
Fantastic. Yay. All right. This is a great time to lift up your chihuahua and show us your dog.
Okay. I'm just going to interrupt a little bit here. Sorry there, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
I'm just going to promote Electric Mermaid a bit. So if you like to read, you can email us at Electric Mermaid readslive@gmail.com. I think that is it. If not, I just go to Char's Landing webpage and get the email list, and I will put you on. So we hope to hear from new people. We love to have new people out and about. Right. And we also have a Facebook page, so you can join that. It's just Electric Mermaid with 2 periods at the end. Okay, so Electric Mermaid reads. I've put it in the. I'm going to turn on my original sound. We've got a little bit of an echo going through. All right, so Electric Mermaid reads at gmail.com. So Electric Mermaid is on the 3rd Friday of every month at 5:45 p.m. Pacific time. And if you'd like to read your work
get some feedback and have the fun of seeing faces like this and be like, you can get a spot for up to 5 minutes to read your stuff live as part of our curated open mic. And you can just send that email to electricmermaidreads@gmail.com. Come and join us if you just want to listen.
And I will be answering the questions, and I'll be getting back to you and on that. So please do. We need lots of new people.
Yeah.
So if you live overseas or wherever you're from, we'd like to new people because we don't have that many from overseas or too many from the US. So if you're from the US or anywhere, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Please
And
join us.
yeah, it's very fun. And Carl is our moderator, and our host is Derek Hannabury. And of course, it's all run out of the beautiful Char's Landing. And see our mermaid at our Char's Landing page. If you can see, that beautiful mermaid is actually, she's like 20 feet long. She's really long and beautiful. She is a lantern, and she's sort of our mascot. And
She
so
is. She's the best mascot you can ever have.
She is the best mascot. Absolutely. We had a note here from Angelica. Patty had a question about translation. Oh boy, is that ever another whole topic. Thank you, Angelica. She says, I recommend Googling it. There are sites like Fiverr that have translators, or you can go into the thousands of dollars for professionals. I would say you want somebody that knows what they're doing, because otherwise, if you don't read Russian, but your book is in Russian, you might not be pleased with the results. My stepdaughter, I'll have to ask her, because she just had one of her children's books, A Boreal Forest, translated into Russian. So, and I'm sure she does not read Cyrillic. So I'll find out how they did that.
All right, there's also translators out there who will do it on the basis of a split commission. So if you say you translate it, we'll post it, and you can get 50, 60%, or you can give them 70 or 80%. You're still going to get 20% you never had. So there are people there that will do that. And the cost of translation has come way down, because what people now do is they throw the thing up into Google Translate, and then all they do is fix it until it reads smoothly. And Google will translate not badly, and it gets better all the time. So professional translators are now going that route rather than going word for word, phrase by phrase.
Could I invite everyone to give Craig Copland a virtual?
Oh, thank you.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Well, keep it up, self-publish, and 5 years from now, you can buy me dinner.
Oh, here's the other thing. Don't forget, you've got acknowledgements, and some of us do acknowledgements anyway, and like in the back of the book. And at this point, I think if I was going to take Craig's advice and have some success in my self-publishing, I definitely want to include him in my acknowledgements, because this is pretty wonderful.
And I thank her for that. I was in one of her acknowledgements, so I thank her for that.
Yeah, Carl was in the acknowledgements for my Heard Amid the Guns book. So
Yes, well, and I'm even seeing my dear friends from Buenos Aires. I'm seeing Kevin and Daniel. How you doing there, guys? Keep up the good work.
That's fantastic. Buenos Aires, you guys are like thousands and thousands of miles away, and here you are. Isn't Zoom amazing? How many of us were working with Zoom before the pandemic hit? I'm just curious. No? Yeah.
No.
See, it's a new thing for a lot of people. Okay, we got some early adopters.
Milena did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I worked with it a lot before the pandemic.
It's a real business tool for you, and working from home with computers and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. There's a whole lot of new adopters, and there's all kinds of things we learn every time we come on it. So if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about Zoom until the pandemic. So if I would have known about it, I would have been doing it a long time ago.
And we're not the Luddites we think we are. All right. I wanted to, let's remind each other of our email, let's see, e-transfer at charslanding.com. And then what was yours again? E-transfer at Sherlock.
If they just go to www.chars.landing.com, everything's there.
True.
Make it much easier on everybody.
Yeah, and you can join into Electric Mermaid there too. You don't have to be on a mailing list, but it's awfully fun. But you can actually join Electric Mermaid directly from charslanding.com. All right, .com. We're getting some nice thanks from Adelaide. All right, that's awfully good. All right, and Craig, again, your website, please.
Well, it's up there, SherlockHolmesMystery.com.
From the mom.
Oh, I gotta spell Holmes right. Yeah, Holmes Mystery.
I'm in the
.com. Great. Mystery or mysteries?
I was just listening to a
Just
Zoom
mystery
meeting
single.
on
Mystery
self-publishing.
single.
There it is
All
there.
And it's out of the hosts are actually right just in Port Alberni, Char's Landing.
Hi, how are you
Susan and I have
doing
gone
there?
for a
This is one thing that
interview
mute
and-
is good for in case you want to have a conversation with
so it was
somebody
used for a
else.
couple hours. Yeah.
All right.
And Craig, I know it's
I
been a
know
long
this
afternoon for
game
you.
is so addictive. I think that's part of the reason I'm up till wee hours of the morning.
So, Char, can you
I
guys
can't
mute?
tell
her?
who's speaking. So
Mickey. It was Mickey. Thank you.
Oh, really?
Well, and I mean, we're all done. I just wanted to have an opportunity to see everyone's face and hear everyone's voice, and to personally thank Craig and Jacqueline and Carl. It's been a really, really nice fun days.
Thank you to everybody.
We'll say bye-bye and thank
No,
Bye.
that's what
Thank
happens.
See you
you.
on the
Bye,
3rd.
everybody.
Hope to see you on the 19th of February.
Bye.
I don't know.
19th of
Take
February is the
care,
next
everybody.
Electric Mermaid. Hope to see you then.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
Oh, hold on. I think I'm talking my conversation on.
All right.
Zoom here.
Somebody
Hold
can
on.
turn that off. All right. Okay.
you. Thanks again. Oh, is that everybody?
I think so.
Good. Good job, everybody. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, take care, everybody. Have a fabulous rest of the weekend,
Thank
whatever
you
is
so much,
left of
Craig.
it.
You're awesome.
Oh,
Relax.
I think every day's a weekend. I'm just gonna call every day the weekend now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
You
Don't
can
do
do
much.
so much.
you can do that. Well, you can do that once you're retired. Just wait.